Welcome back to Winning Law. I'm attorney David Nguyen with offices in Houston, Texas. So if you followed my Facebook page or this YouTube channel, you'll notice that I don't post every single day. And I notice that people or immigration attorneys that post on TikTok or Facebook, they post daily, but there's not that many changes to immigration law. So what they'll do is that they'll try to scare you, or they'll talk about proposed immigration policies that haven't really happened or not really likely going to happen. So on my channel, I only try to report on changes that I've actually seen happen, and I don't try to scare anyone, to do certain things. However, I'm going to make a very grim and sad prediction for 2024 and beyond regarding immigration cases today. I haven't heard any other attorney talk about this, but this is going to be the new reality. So a few months ago, we made an announcement on our Facebook page and also this YouTube channel that immigration was beginning to waive in-person interviews for certain green card applications and cases. And this seemed to be a good thing. The immigration officer will take a look at a case, determine if anything is missing, and if nothing is missing, simply request the medical exam. This way, the interview can be waived and the individual can receive his or her green card. So there are three major reasons why I think this is going to end up being a very bad idea. The first reason why this policy change may be a very bad idea is that usually when you get a marriage interview, it's very beneficial for a few reasons. One, you get to provide the government with more proof about your marriage, because by that time you've been married for more than a couple of months and you're able to procure other documents to show that the marriage is real. Now, if the marriage interview is waived altogether, you're not going to have the opportunity to provide this information to your immigration attorney or to the government for that matter. So later on, if you're filing for an I-751 petition to remove the conditions on your 2-year green card to get a 10-year green card, or you apply for naturalization at the 3-year mark and the government requires you to provide proof of your marriage, you're not going to know if you have enough proof or if there were things that you should have done but you were not told that you needed when you first got your conditional green card or your initial green card. The second problem with waived interviews is related to marriage fraud. So usually in our experience, if a marriage does not work out, sometimes a US citizen or a green card holder spouse that filed the green card petition will accuse the foreign national of marriage fraud, like marrying them only to receive immigration benefits. So if the interview is waived by immigration and the individuals never went to the interview, I can see that in the future, if the foreign national is accused of marriage fraud and the US citizen or green card holder spouse indicates that they never signed any documents, never submitted anything, it's going to create a big and huge burden for the foreign national, because now they are going to have to prove that the US citizen or green card holder spouse actually signed the documents. The final reason why I think this idea of waiving the interview may be a bad idea is that it's going to create future problems related to incomplete documents. If the case is going to be waived the interview, sometimes that officer may not do a good job at really looking at all the supporting documents and then making a hasty decision since they're not going to have an interview. I've seen this before for various cases. However, the main problem with this is that documents change and the requirements change. Like, for example, if you're from a country like Nigeria, and in the past, immigration used to accept an attestation of birth instead of a birth certificate for the National Population Commission. However, about a year or so ago, the government started requiring different documents to prove that a person was really born in Nigeria. They stopped accepting just the attestation of birth. So if you filed your case and the government just hastily approved it really quickly, the next time that you go in for immigration or you apply for benefits, they may no longer accept those particular type of documents. Another good example is documents from Honduras. So before, they used to accept any kind of documents from the registry. However, now they are looking at the folio document, and it has to be the handwritten folio document that needs to be translated. Another good example of documents that were once previously accepted but are no longer being accepted are short form birth certificates. So if you're from Canada and you have a short form birth certificate and you were able to apply for government benefits before and it was accepted, they're no longer accepting them. You have to get a long form birth certificate now. So you can just see that every country is different. We talked about Nigeria, Canada, Honduras. I'm sure there's a lot of other countries with this issue, but if you submit a case with immigration, a lot of things may change by the time that you're trying to apply for new immigration benefits, and your documents may be stale or they may no longer be accepted by immigration. So that's another reason why having the interview waived may not be necessarily a good idea. So based on these three reasons, I don't know if it's necessarily a really good thing that the interviews are going to be waived. Now, the reason why I think there's going to be an increased rate of denials and marriage fraud accusations is because of things that I have already seen immigration do in my practice. For example, in the last couple of weeks, we've been seeing an increase in very, very difficult requests for evidence or notices of intent to deny. So what I recommend to anyone that's watching this video is to take a serious look at your immigration filing. If you filed it yourself, or even if you use an attorney, I want you to take a look at the cover letter and determine what documents did you submit to immigration to prove that the marriage was real. If you don't think that you did a very good job in submitting the required documents, maybe because you got married very quickly and you didn't have enough documents at the time of filing to provide sufficient documents to the government, but they waived the interview anyway, I strongly recommend that you reach out to an experienced immigration attorney and talk about a preservation agreement. So at our office, we have something called document preservation. If we feel the government may take issue with a particular case, we start collecting documents to help support the case at the time. This way, in the future, if the government starts harping on a particular case, we can provide additional evidences that the relationship was real. So this is very important if you receive a waiver of the interview. This way, in case anything were to happen with your marriage, or in case you lose documents in the future because you've been married a long time, you're not going to have any issues with future immigration filings. So again, if your immigration attorney doesn't know how to do a document preservation case, speak with our office. We have experience doing this and we've done it before. So again, thank you for watching Winning Law. I'm attorney David Nguyen, and we hope that we have made immigration easier to understand.
At David Nguyen's Law Office, we are here to help you. We bring families together through immigration. And on the other hand, we help you find solutions. All your legal needs in the hands of people who care, who are there for you. We'll take care of your loved ones at the Law Office of David.